fuck's sake!
Did you time it perfectly?
Edit it out.
Yes.
Edit it out.
You did. Okay. All right. No. Look, this is fine. This is fine.
Oh my
Welcome to the FriBox podcast, season 2. This is pilot episode 0, so we don't know if this is actually going to air. But let's get started with some short introductions. Paul, go ahead and lead us off, would you?
Holy moly. For the last year, I've basically been doing nothing. I've got a job, and my life has been pretty empty other than that. Playing video games and hanging out with these fools.
Okay.
But, that one.
You're pointing to me on your end.
Yeah.
As if you think it's going to show up on my end.
On my end, it was showing me.
You're supposed to talk, Eric. That's the thing.
Oh, okay. I see.
If you had talked, it would have worked.
Right. Okay, so assuming that's the end of your introduction there,
Oh,
Paul?
yeah, that's the end of my intro.
Okay. Tristan, could you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Oh, hi. God, what have I been doing for the past year? Stress is on the spot.
This
Okay,
should not take
I
this much
moved.
thought.
I moved. I got another job. Not a better job, just another job. Going through, personal shit, and revamped my entire Twitch channel, and then I'm just doing that. So.
Booyaka cha.
Yeah.
And becoming a vape lord.
Give it up.
Welcome to the club.
Okay. Anyway, Matt, would you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Hello, I'm Matt. For the last year, I've been doing a whole lot of nothing, but at the same time, a lot of introspection and anxiety-fueled existential crises.
Same,
That's
Matt.
been a lot of fun.
Same.
Yeah.
Matt and
I
I
went
are
to
on the same
Mozart.
level.
There's a Mozart cafe in downtown Ann Arbor, and someone wrote on the table a phone number, call me for my life story or existential crisis. I still have that saved. I've yet to give it a call, though.
One of these days, I feel like we should do that just for fun, but
Yeah, just go live on Skype, get a spoofed number.
Okay. Okay, I guess it falls to me then. So,
what have you been up to, Eric? Pressure's on.
So again, I'm Eric. It was justified. I've been hosting these podcasts for a little bit. This is season 2, the first ones we've done in a long time, mostly because we haven't had time.
All of us suck at scheduling.
Whatever excuse.
All of us
insert excuse
suck
here.
at scheduling. Yeah, we could just use that. Everyone sucks at scheduling, including me. But no, I actually left my last job and started working at as a contract marketer for a large social media company. I'm not actually allowed to say who, but that's what I do now. And I'm working. Say what now?
NDAs are a bitch.
Yeah, I know, right? I've been doing that for about 4 months, and now I'm trying to find something a little bit more interesting. So, anywho,
Are you in a robe?
I am wearing a robe. Yes,
God damn.
I am.
This is the level of.
I'm feeling very classy at the moment. Actually, I mean, honestly, I think it looks kind of good. To be honest,
I was like, for a minute, I thought you were wearing a jacket. I was like, why is he wearing 2 sets of long fucking clothes in his apartment? And then I remember your apartment doesn't have good heating.
It doesn't have heating right now because every time I turn it on, it smokes out the apartment.
Yep, same here, but I have a space heater for that.
Right. See, I don't have a space heater, so it's currently, hang on, 54 degrees in my apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So this is necessary. But I think I pull it off well. All right, so now that we've kind of covered...
Do we still have the space heater?
No, you don't have a space heater. Nobody has a space heater. In fact, let's just kind of
I have an
refocus here.
infrared space heater. It's beautiful.
Because if we do, I'll just pawn that off on you because we don't use it.
I'm going to be moving in a month, so it's probably not a big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know, maybe you're used to polar degrees by then.
If we can move on. Let's real quick kind of jump into what we've been doing as it pertains to the digital realm. So Tristan has been working on building up his Twitch channel, correct?
Yep.
Why don't you give us
11 followers and strong. What?
There you go. Why don't you give us some more background on what the process was behind switching out and what you're going to be doing going forward?
Okay, so my original Twitch handle that I had like a decent following on was the Yang the Fox Faunus handle.
Yeah.
I had like 60 followers, not a lot of views. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to, blow this up, whatever.
Yeah.
Deleted it, got rid of it. And then went over to Eric's place and we set up an entirely new one. And it's under Texan Red Wolf now. Because I was going to have it linked up to a YouTube channel where I just kind of vlog and talk about, the shit I'm going through with my life, which is what all vlog channels are. And then I kind of just didn't do it in a while.
Yeah.
And then I didn't do it. So I've just, so now I'm just like with Twitch right now, trying to like, on my days that I can stream, I stream because most of the time I work night shifts. So like, the way that I'm, as far as I know, I'm basically pulling a ninja on this. Is I go to work, I sleep, I game, I go to work, rinse, repeat. Sometimes I have a day off.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can explain it. But I'm not pulling like 16-hour streams like Ninja did. I'm pulling baby streams right now.
The 16-hour Ninja stream, that is work, stream, work, go to bed.
I think it actually goes like work, sleep, work. Because at that point, it's not right.
Yeah.
At that point, it's technically not so much a hobby as it is a full-time job.
Which would be nice to like have it be a part-time job eventually.
Right. That's
which is what I'm going for.
Right. I don't think I ever want to be as famous as somebody like Tyler. I think I'd rather be, able to make a decent living off of it, but not, super famous. I don't know why. Anyway,
I think for me, at least, like my plan with my channel is I want to be able to make enough that I can pay rent. I want to be able to pay rent and then use my other job as all my utilities and throwing money at stupid shit thing.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
That is a worthwhile goal, I think. All right, Paul, what are you doing in the digital realm these days? What are you up to?
Dude, I have been up to so little. It's kind of ridiculous. Like I used to play video games pretty often, but at this point, I basically just like read manga and occasionally play a video game. Recently rebuilt my computer, which has been an absolute
catastrophe.
Yeah, a massive waste of time. It hasn't been a catastrophe because it's working. But yeah, that's been annoying. A cute cat.
I know, this is great. He's going to be in this podcast for a little bit.
I like it.
Making friends.
Anyway, so yeah, it's been a large use of my time, and other than that, I've just had work, and then been pretty lazy. Otherwise, didn't really get anything done.
Fair enough.
That's been my life. It's been fun.
All right, Matt, what you got going on, brother?
Well, I have a crappy computer currently. However, I do have plans to get that taken care of early next year, so that'll be fun. And while it seems, we have at least 2 people here that are on Twitch, I'm seriously considering going to Mixer. I've been playing around with it and watching some of the streams there, and it seems like you can get a pretty decent regular following very easily. It has the lightning fast chat. There's no delay between stream, which is nice, which to me would feel like a great community building thing where you don't have like that 30-second lag all the time. And
it's about 10.
You it can range, and then if you're playing some things, you put on a long delay for whatever reason. But I'm really thinking of exploring that space because I want a small, maybe 100 max concurrent viewer following if I do something on the online streaming platform. It's going to be just a fun hobby, have a nice community, and make friends. It's not going to be get rich quick. It's too volatile, the whole online market right now.
That's what sucks about Twitch is it's so saturated with people who are like, let me get rich quick, and they don't realize how much fucking time and effort you got to put into it.
I mean, but the thing is, I actually think it's a good thing that people go into it with that mindset, because to be honest, like everybody that I've seen go in with that mindset burns out in about 6 months, if that. Oh yeah. the burnout rate on people who are like, I want to get rich, I want to be a Twitch streamer forever, I don't want to have to work again. Like the amount of people who spend a shitload of money on a computer, all the equipment, get their shit together, start streaming, and realize that it is 10 to 12-hour days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole online thing right now. Fail fast and move on. It's like, make your mistakes real quick and then go on to the next thing because nothing fucking matters.
Although that mixer idea sounds like a good thing. I did
like I was like one of the streamers that I was watching, he'd go on Smashcast usually, but Smashcast is being a bit iffy. So he was testing with Mixer today, and he had like 3 or 4 followers or 3 or 4 viewers. And next thing he knew, he was the #1 Overwatch streamer on Mixer because no one else was on the platform. So he had like 30 or 40 randos just joining into his chat. Yeah. There's not a lot out there. It's a brand new platform, and if it catches on, it's, like always, it's good to get in early.
Yeah. No, I think you know what? I've been debating this pretty heavily internally, because I do see the benefit with Mixer, but I don't see how they're going to be able to take market share from Twitch right now.
I mean, I personally can see Twitch making a couple more mistakes that divides the entire online streaming platform. Yeah. The way YouTube currently is, but they don't have a competitor. They don't have another online hosting platform that pays money, whereas Twitch does have competitors that have avenues to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
So remember how Matt said that he wasn't interested in getting rich quick, right?
Yeah. He knows enough to be able to get rich quick.
No. What I'm saying is, since he's not interested in getting rich quick, he's not looking for Mixer to take over the market share of Twitch. It'll still be a platform.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
That's my thought.
So, if we're gonna jump into this pretty deep, what games have we been playing recently?
Destiny 2.
Lame.
I need to start playing that.
Lame.
I've never played the first one. I'm having fun on PC because I don't.
Activision.
I don't care about any of it. I'm just playing the game because I get to shoot things and punch things, and it's fun.
There are other games that you can accomplish that in.
I'm a hardcore casual gamer. It's the ultimate casual game for me right now.
That is not the ultimate. No, it is.
The way I play. No, fuck Fortnite. People take that shit too seriously. You're competing against real people all the time.
Fortnite is free.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll download it.
Yeah, just because it's free does not mean casual.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah. It's a hyper competitive. As far as I know, Fortnite only has PvP or PvE, like constantly fighting actual people all the time, and that's not casual.
No. There's PvE, which is you go in and you just build your shit and you fight off zombies and there's events and stuff, kind of like Destiny. And then there's the Battle Royale.
Kind of like DayZ.
Yeah, it's like
kind of like DayZ.
Or like H1Z1 before it became the Battle Royale simulator.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. H1Z1 pre-King of the Kill. Which, by the way, is some real...
H1Z1's having trouble right now.
H1Z1 was already having trouble, like, pre-King of the Kill because they made all the wrong design decisions.
Yeah.
And then they introduced this Battle Royale thing, and they immediately get blown out of the water because they, they didn't do a good job. And
they were just the first ones to do it semi-successfully.
Well, they did it.
They didn't do it well.
No, they did Z1 well, and they did the first big tournament that H1Z1 had really well. It was very well produced. It ran well. There weren't too many issues. Then they launched the new map, and they completely stopped paying attention to anything the players were saying at all. And now pretty much all of the players hate them.
Contentious counterpoint, I think game designers shouldn't give a fuck about what the people in the community say about the game, as long as they can say the game is good for reasons that can counteract the arguments of the community. Like if the community will say X, Y, or Z card in a video game is too strong or a player is too strong. If the game designers can say it's strong the way it is because we thought it through deeply and here's our explanation, then yeah, that's the right way to do it. They're just not doing that.
Right. They're not doing that at all.
You don't have to listen to it. You just have to design the game well.
Seriously, never fucking listen to Reddit when they try to give you game design tips. They have no idea what they're talking
No,
about.
but I honestly, okay, I understand that side, but I would say you should pay attention to the people who are streaming your game on Twitch, who hold 8
Wrong.
to 20,000 viewers.
That's what happened. That's what happened to Neverwinter Nights.
What
And the
happened
game
in
was
Neverwinter Nights?
decimated and gave way to modern MMOs. The creators of the game,
Neverwinter was good though.
a very small portion of the community, namely the people who play their game 16 hours a day, and when they did, they made the game so freaking inaccessible to everyone who isn't the people who spend 16 hours on the game, because that was their elitist philosophy. They wanted to be the best at the game, so they influenced the developers. Eventually, the game became so inaccessible, no one played it. The game died because they listened to the fringe minority who plays the game too much.
Yeah, the loudest voices on the forums.
You need to avoid listening to the loud voices, the people who play a lot, because the people who keep your game alive are the people who put in 2 hours a week. Like, especially if you're a free-to-play game or you're a really accessible game, like you're talking about Fortnite, they should never listen to streamers. Never. Because the people who will keep their game alive, that keep a community about it, they're going to play it, 2 hours a week. They'll just pick up Fortnite and one point, play it for a bit. And if they enjoy it, those are the people they should be trying to please.
So if we're talking about balance issues versus technical issues, that change your opinion?
When it comes to like bug reporting and bug fixes, you can listen to the community a little bit if they can document it and recreate it. Like if it's interactions and Overwatch. Right now, there's a guy who did a bunch of like in-depth video clips, reproduced a bunch of Doomfist like actual bug interactions. And Overwatch was like, thank you so much. We had a hard time recreating this and getting it on our own. We want to thank you. Now we know how to fix it. That's when it's okay. Yeah, when exactly. It's like purely mechanical bug fixes that they just don't have documentation for.
What I'm saying is, don't listen to Reddit for design decisions when it comes to bug fixing.
Right. I'm talking about like actual like technical issues within the game that you would see on a live stream that could be easily replicated.
Yeah. That in that case, if they are seeing things happen on stream that are problematic, you take a clip of that, you send it to the developers. Right. Yeah, they listen to bug reports.
I'm not talking about like you need to nerf X, Y, and Z gun because it's broken.
But
that's what a lot of streamers fucking bitch about. Like, I hate playing against people who are better than me with this gun, so nerf that gun, please.
The thing is, what happens is the streamer says, okay, the MP5 is the best, or the whatever MP5K is the best gun in Call of Duty right now. And they show a video about how overpowered it is. They bitch about it for 30 minutes. It hits top of Reddit. The developers see it. They're like, holy shit, people are so unhappy with this because it has 10,000 likes on Reddit, 10,000 upvotes. And so then at the end of it, they nerf the gun.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the problem.
I do want to point out, there was actually an instance that I remember this happening very clearly. Level Cap did a video on one of the guns in Battlefield 4 that was legitimately, utterly, ridiculously overpowered.
Yeah.
Like it shot like a laser. It had no recoil. As long as you had the right attachments, you did not have to move your mouse or controller at all to control it. You just pointed, fired, and people just died in like 6 rounds.
Yeah, that seems like that was a mistake of poor game design and poor testing.
Right.
The
but
game developer just fucked up.
It was utterly ridiculous, and so Level Cap made this video about. He was just like, "Look, I just want to point this out. Like, I'm walking through an area of enemies. I scope in, I shoot a few times, and they're dead. There's no effort required. It's the most ridiculously overpowered gun in the game."
Yeah.
So I mean that's where I can see like maybe we should be listening to these people because they kind of do have.
But a lot of the things that we're listening to is like what would be replaced with a good, thorough QA test team and proper development of the game. It's stuff that shouldn't be released to the public, and we're under this idea that because we can patch games so quickly in live, it's like a week or two at most in all the PC games, and the Xbox and PS4 patching is a little bit harder, so it does take a little longer. So you can't respond as immediately, but because the game designers know that if we fuck up, we can fix it, I feel there's no accountability left in the game makers like there was 15 years ago when you release a game, that's all the fuck you're ever going to be.
And see, that's the problem. Like what Matt just brought up is like the QA testers when it comes to video games are just like, yeah, seems good. I mean, if we fucked up, we could just patch it.
Yeah,
It's
we have
like-
a forum for this. They'll tell us how to do our job.
Exactly. And what kills me about that is like that's why most like the Assassin, like you remember the whole Assassin's Creed Unity debacle? That's why that happened. That's why there were so many bugs in that. And I think there was one other game that did the same fucking thing. And you're just like,
Good game.
The PC port of Dead Rising, I think Dead Rising 2 or 3 was just absolute shit for like a year.
yeah,
Battlefield 4.
Dead Rising 3. The PC port for that was fucking trash.
Yeah,
And I was like,
people with 980s at the
well,
time
I
couldn't
spent
play it.
fucking money on that. Now I'm
talking
pissed.
My worst one was probably Battlefield 4. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
But Battlefield 4 for 8 months after release was unplayable.
Battlefield 3 had a much shorter but similar issue as well.
Right,
on
but I
PC.
mean now it's just become like a Battlefield thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because
hang
they're
on,
an annual franchise, they have to go after money.
Battlefield 1 releases and it works right out the box. It works perfectly.
It's because they fucking took their time.
They beta tested it. They had a month of time where people could play the game and bitch about it and have all these bugs and all this shit go wrong, and then they released it 2 months later and it was fine. It worked well. It was fun.
Look, personally, I actually don't like beta testing because, like, you shouldn't need an open beta. Now, I'm not talking about closed betas. You shouldn't need an open beta to test your game.
Unless it's servers, if you're just testing server load.
If you can't figure out your server situation, then you have an incompetent ops team.
That too. Yeah, true.
Like, you shouldn't need to have full load in order to simulate.
Right, because we can look at examples of where that went really well and where it went really wrong. Like really well would probably be the Destiny 1 launch was utterly flawless. There was no login issues. Everybody was able to get in on time. It didn't crash. There weren't many massive bugs, at least right off the front end. Then you look at something where it's done horribly wrong, which is like ESO. If anybody tried to play ESO at launch, they probably know what we're talking about.
Or GTA 5 is another good one.
Or GTA 5.
online.
Dude,
That's
GTA
a
5, we didn't
huge
get
one.
online for like how many months after the game was released? And that
It was,
was
I
one
think,
of
6 weeks. And then after
was
that
6
6 weeks, it was just unplayable for the first 2 afterwards.
Yeah.
You had to win the lottery. Which I understand in some games, like having a login queue, that's okay if at the end of the queue you actually get in the game. Like
Right.
Warcraft does that really well, where sometimes after a patch or something, there is a login queue. But you know that your position in line is real, and when it gets down to you're the next in queue, you're actually the next in queue, and you get to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, except it still doesn't work perfectly. Like, you have the Warlords of Draenor release, where the game was entirely unplayable for, like, a very significant period of time. You could not get your, whatever they call them, hideouts to function for 2 weeks after launch. And this is
really? I didn't hear about that.
not some small-time stuff. This is Blizzard, who had invested all of that money in server hardware, and they couldn't get their core feature to work on launch.
Yeah, but if you listen to the Overwatch community, you can tell that Blizzard is actually just a small indie team.
Oh, right.
That's one of my favorite memes. They're just a small independent company, guys. Give them some.
Yeah. They don't have any massive financial backing or,
Yeah.
nothing like that.
Not like they were bought by a large company and,
Well, no, it was a co-acquisition. They weren't bought by. They both bought each other.
Oh, of course.
Right.
I remember those articles very clearly. Activision and Blizzard was a co-acquisition.
Oh, man. Just like Disney and 20th Century Fox, right?
Yeah, shit. That shit scares me, man.
No kidding. Oh, my God. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I am glad that it's not the entirety of Fox, but at the same time, it does worry me that we have.
This is still a merger of unprecedented scale.
Oh, yeah. It's fucking
Because-
massive.
The purchase was more than a lot of small countries have in their entire country.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing that bothers me. So we just had this net neutrality issue, right? This actually is a good tie-in.
I like how we're segueing in here.
So we
Good
recently
segue,
had
Paul.
this net neutrality, which removed Title II classification for ISP.
Internet. Yeah. Internet.
Well, it
providers.
turns out Time Warner Cable is an ISP, and Disney has a 60% stake in Hulu. So I just want you guys to connect the dots and imagine where this is going. This is not a safe situation to be in. They own a bunch of content distribution, they own a bunch of content, and they own one of the largest streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
All one company. That is a problem. And I don't think that if we changed net neutrality back to be Title II, that it would solve it.
It's not nearly enough.
I think the only way to solve that is break up the freaking company. Just kill them.
We did it once like 50 years ago with the bells. We can do it again.
Yeah. Seriously.
Okay. That's the thing with Disney. Disney's so fucking huge that even if we, tried to try and nerf them from what companies they've obtained, it wouldn't fucking do anything because Disney's so fucking big.
Yeah, Disney on its own is huge. It's not even just a subsidiary. Yeah, it's not even just the subsidiary companies that are big. It's simply Disney as a whole is massive.
Yeah,
has a lot of money to throw around and a lot of lawyers too. I mean, so can we let's poll the room real quick. In favor of repealing net neutrality, anybody here?
I can argue for that side if you want for a minute.
You mean repealing Title 1 classification of our?
No, I mean like pulling Title II off.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm also more or less in favor of it. Now,
I think
I'm on the fence.
In favor of keeping Title II.
Well, here's the thing. Title II is a step in a direction, but it's becoming clear that the fabric of our society is relying on the internet and access to this wonderful tool that we have very much the same way that we have access to running water in our homes. It's something that shouldn't be up to another company to decide our access to it. And if we want our society to grow and become better and use internet as a tool to do that, and all the information and access to this great tool that we have, it needs to be more along the lines of water and electricity. It's a natural human right almost that you can get that shit and not worry about all the other nonsense that comes along with it.
Yep.
And Title II is just a small step in that direction or in a direction slightly towards that area.
I don't think so. Title II, by its statement, Title II is that, what you just described.
Right.
It's just doing it very poorly because of regulation and
yeah.
That's what I mean. It
doesn't. That's the problem. Is that it doesn't. I don't think it solves the problem that it's meant to solve, and that's my issue with it.
It's such a new beast, and people are too deeply invested in keeping it the way it is, and it's going to be like another 40, 50 years before it is like water and electricity and telephones.
I think that regulation will be far behind company efforts as far as internet service is concerned, but I think from what we've already been seeing, internet service has made leaps and bounds, and it had very little to do with the regulation behind it, because the regulation and regulatory agencies have not been doing a huge, important. They haven't been a real big part of the transformation of the internet. So
the internet's just evolving a lot faster than almost anything we've seen before.
Yeah,
we will have Skynet, guys. We will have Skynet.
We could make here is trying to overregulate the internet and make a misstep there, missing the ball, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example of a situation where Title II is concerned. If you wanted, as an internet company, to sell a cell phone data plan where you have free access to ESPN because you're Time Warner Cable and you own ESPN and also, the cell phone network. So you do that, and you provide ESPN for free to your clients because you have ads running on ESPN, but you don't provide all unlimited streaming.
Right.
That's
only ESPN.
not possible under Title II because it's only ESPN. That's a fast lane, right? But if you had the option, it's basically a bonus for you, and it works in the favor of the company who's providing it. So in my mind, that's not such a bad thing. If you go to predatory practices where, for example, you could buy the whole internet, which includes streaming sites, or you could just buy the basic package. And the basic package costs you $50 a month, and the ultimate streamer package or streaming package where you can get all this upload speed and you can stream videos from YouTube, that would cost you like $200 a month. That would be, in my mind, predatory.
It's obviously predatory.
That's something that's also, not possible under Title II. And it's possible, as far as I'm aware, under Title I. So that could be done under the current legislation. But I feel like if it ever went to court, that would become a problem. And they
Right,
wouldn't.
because the internet is still regulated, but it's not regulated by the FCC anymore. It's by the FTC.
Really?
So you could still bring suits. It just wouldn't be to the same group. It would be to the FTC instead of the FCC.
Gotcha. I thought the FCC was still regulating the internet as a Title One.
Dropping Title II means the FTC, not the FCC, is back in charge of net neutrality.
Oh, okay. So they're the ones making the decisions on what isn't allowed.
Right. It goes back to basically the FTC got hold of it in 2007, I think, and then transferred the FCC in 2014. And one of the rules about that was I'm trying to figure out. Hang on. I'm trying to remember. There was a piece about this, and actually, I'm going to look it up right now.
While you're doing that, I'm going to tie into this. I believe that the ability to offer, like in your example, ESPN for free shows a monopolistic conflict of interest that shouldn't exist. Like, because they have that close relationship on both ends of the spectrum of content and provision, that shouldn't exist. That tie-in, that partnership shouldn't be as direct as it is. And that we could keep the classification Title II if we also busted the monopolies and split a lot of these companies up. But that's just, yeah.
My goal would be there. I don't think, I think that if someone wants to provide a service for, at a better cost because of the relationship they have with the service that's being provided, or because they optimize their network to provide this service, you have, if you have, for example, YouTube, where you provide a lot of videos, they could have a proxy where when you connect to YouTube, you go through a proxy and it provides better service for you. That's not possible under Title II, right? So if a network is able to improve their own internet service provision, I don't know how you're supposed to say that, their own services when it comes to internet service providing, there are some things that they could do that I think would be a positive change that they can't under Title II. And I think that kind of regulatory oversight is harmful to a rapidly growing industry.
Yeah. But so this is actually the reason that I'm okay with Title II being dropped is there's two things. Under Title II, the ISPs have to submit proposals to the FCC for any new technology or business model at all. So anything that changes, they have to submit it to the FCC for approval.
Yeah.
And they have no recourse. The FCC can approve or deny, and they can also go back on their word and say they deny it after they approved it. So there's no like kind of safety net for an ISP to say like, yes, we have an approved decision. We can put this out there. It's done. Because FCC can reverse their decision 2 weeks later.
And I think giving them the power to do that is beneficial in such a quickly evolving technology as the internet, where something that seems good for 3 weeks can completely be terrible in 6.
Yeah, I actually agree with Matt on this one.
It could be very harmful to consumers after the fact. Like, it's hard, with as vast as the internet is, it's hard to sit in a boardroom and say, on paper, this should work. In practice, oh, fuck, we messed up. And we have to accept that with, close enough. But like with all technologies and all these little things that don't actually matter, it's okay to make these mistakes, and being able to admit you made a mistake and pull it back is essential.
Right, and I can see that from the overarching point of view, but I'm like, if I was a business owner looking at this, like, there's no way.
Business owners. Businesses aren't as important as people. People matter more than businesses and corporations and entities. That's my solid stance.
But people make up those businesses.
Yes, but once you're starting thinking as a business,
as a business owner, as somebody, a person
who's thinking with the best interest of the business in mind, not of the employees
and the employees,
to get them a paycheck. Yeah, that's
the customers
to get them to buy your product.
Yeah, because I want to succeed, so that I can help.
Part of democracy is the concept of the greater good, and that is. Let me finish the sentence. It's like, to some degree, you have to be able to make sacrifices for the greater good. That ties deeply into what was believed to be the backbone of democracy.
Hold on. Sacrifices for the greater good. You're talking about the business owner is not important, but you're okay with making sacrifices on behalf of the business owner. I don't see how that's like anything close to moral or okay. Like in the greater good would mean that everybody came to a decision. This is a group of people who decide that the business owners, the corporations, because they're not people, the corporations are bad, and therefore we should be okay with punishing them and not allowing them to
No,
have
when the corporations
confidence.
do something that is directly impactful to society, but is still profitable, it needs to be cut off without the idea, they're going to lose money. Oh, you're going to disrupt lives.
I'm not against that at all. I'm not against disrupting crony capitalism or doing away with bad business practices. But we have avenues for that already.
But they're clearly failing.
How are they clearly failing?
With all the monopolistic, like, just look at the fucking internet. Like, we're talking
hang on.
it.
Right. So if we look at the things that are hampering the internet growing right now, as in ISPs that are starting up, what are the things that hamper those happening?
The fact that they're being bullied out because they're being...
No, that's not true at all, because Grande is growing beautifully in North Austin.
Okay, name one city out of the entire country that has it's because Austin has Google Fiber, who's been able to shake up a few markets by coming in and forcing the idea that you have choice. Whereas in Michigan, that didn't exist. Like, you had Comcast and you had DSL.
Okay, right. So you would be in favor of having more corporations who are... I'm not sure if we're talking about corporations as good or bad, but you'd be in favor of having more corporations be able to offer more choices. Is that right?
Yes and no. Like,
hang on. Why no?
The no is in the current structure, the way things are, it's not going to happen. They're going to collude and work together to bully out competition that they see as not something they can absorb later.
Why?
Because that's the way that everything is going. Like, look at Disney right now taking over 20th Century Fox. Like, they decided to absorb them into that, which I do not see should have it happened. I don't.
Okay, so hang on. We're talking. There's two different things going on here. We're talking about current ISPs right now, and then we're talking about predatory business practices. So if we're talking about current ISPs, you want more choices, regardless of anything else, right? You want people to be able to have the choice to choose, I can go with a slightly slower service, but I'm going to get great customer service. I'm going to get great support. It's not going to go down. Or I can pay a little bit less and have, this slightly faster service, but it's been known to be unreliable.
I don't think that those two options should exist the same way that right now, if I get a phone line installed in my apartment, it's going to work regardless of who the provider is. Every provider, when I pick up that phone line, it will work. We're too early into in the internet technology to say that that's going to happen in the same way.
Why?
Like,
in what way?
Well, if my experience with internet providers is anything accurate, shit breaks all the damn time.
Yeah.
It just breaks. It's going to break.
You just have someone at Comcast who fucked up their BGP routing, and then you can't access 4 different sites for...
Yeah, we don't have 40 years of infrastructure optimization.
Like,
we got about 30 years.
No, I mean, like, at the same level that it is now. Like, it's grown exponentially, and every, 3 years, it's almost a whole new beast.
Okay. So is that a bad thing?
No, I just think that, it's going to be another 20, maybe 30 years before this all gets fixed. And it sucks, and it's hard, and it's terrible. And we're alive today. Not 30 years.
But what I'm trying to kind of point out is that I'm of the mind that we should allow people to have more choices, and that'll open up more good opportunities, as opposed to where it seems like you're kind of saying that more choices are not necessarily good, but in every other realm of business or even any industry that we have, more choices are better choices. For instance, we have Uber, Lyft, Ride Austin, Fasten, Fare, and about 4 other ones, and they all have different types of services, right?
Yep.
So more choices are better choices. Even with airlines, we've got Southwest, United, Frontier. So, and they all offer different levels of service. Like, United is almost always the cheapest, but they're fucking uncomfortable ass. Actually, sorry, Frontier is almost always the cheapest.
And Spirit as well.
Or Spirit.
Yeah.
But they have bag fees, and they have all these other shit that you have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So you could pay slightly more and not have to deal with those headaches and go with Southwest or even United or American or whatever the other ones. JetBlue is a good one. So, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, where is it that we're realizing that is air transport not as important as internet?
Yes, it's not. Air transport is not nearly as important as internet because internet is a tool to better yourself as a
hang
human
on.
being.
Whoa.
It is something that you can. No, I don't see internet like being able to go to another country as much of a intrinsic tool to better the American way of what is it? I'm too drunk. I'm all out of.
You're not that drunk. You've had one glass.
You know how strong I make my shit.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
But yeah,
seriously,
like in order to pursue like the basic fundamentals of the American dream of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, I think
where does internet come into that?
I think internet is going to be a very integral thing, the same way that we treat libraries as public institutions to access knowledge and books. The internet is going to provide a similar role as just a backbone of society. And
similar to how we have a right to free speech, we should have a right to access of this information. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
So the thing that I've just got to point out, because you guys brought up airlines. Airlines are way more heavily regulated than ISPs. Well, sorry. Airlines are way more heavily regulated pre-Title II. I actually don't know how heavily regulated Title II makes it.
I think they just dropped the regulation where they have to list baggage and extra fees on airlines.
Yeah, but the point is that is one of the better examples of incredibly intensive regulatory oversight. And it works okay. Airlines work out okay. You can't really be a small airline. Not only does the economy of scale not work at all, but the amount of extra, stuff you have to go through to become a commercial pilot. I have a coworker who had an ultralight plane, just this little tiny thing, right? It cost him whatever, $20,000, $15,000. And he just took someone in his plane for $20. Well, that's illegal. If he tried to make a business out of having plane rides, he would now need to become a commercial airline, which requires a whole ton of work and money. So that kind of thing, airlines are not a good example of an industry that doesn't have much regulation, or that regulation allowed it to grow in the number and quality of providers.
I was simply bringing it up as a point of having choices and having options and different levels of services.
Yeah.
But if you do want to bring up regulations, I do want to point out that as it sits right now, big airlines are eating up small airlines because small airlines can't succeed on their own.
Yeah.
And are we going to say that that's a good thing?
No.
It's an overall inconsequential thing. It's not going. It's inconsequential to the overall quality of life that humans will experience on a day-to-day level. And I believe that's where I believe a lot of this difference is coming into play, where being able to fly to another country, I don't see as something that everyone has to experience and everyone needs to do in order to live a full and fulfilling life.
I agree with you, but think about from a different perspective. What about the people who have to travel for business?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If you had a company, if you had a situation where there was one monopolistic airline company, and because they knew that people needed to fly for business, it was a necessary part of their operating, they had a difference between business and personal rates, and they would figure out if you were trying to travel for business, and if you were traveling for business, they would charge you out the ass. If that were the case, businesses wouldn't be able to travel the same way they do today. A lot of the pretty incredible developments we have where it comes to worldwide commerce and travel, they wouldn't be accessible to the same degree. Only the very wealthy would be able to run a multi-country organization.
Right. That's the other point that I want to bring up. So I brought up ride sharing, but I mean, if you want to look at it, how Paul, do you remember maybe 15 years ago, did you ever have to rent a taxi or a car to get to the airport?
Yeah, I have.
Did your parents ever bitch about that?
You
remember that? No? Okay, because mine did.
Okay.
Because the times that we had to get up at 3 a.m. and my dad or my mom didn't want to have to drive to the airport, park the car, then go find and actually get into the terminal, we would rent a car. And that shit was so goddamn expensive. It was unbelievable, but it was worth it at the time.
Yeah.
But now we have hundreds of people that are all independent contractors of companies like Uber and Lyft that I can be like, hey, you know what? I don't want to have to spend $250, $300 to rent a car. I can pay $40 to a guy down the road, and he'll drive me to the airport.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because there was a heavy regulation on taxis.
Right. There was a heavy regulation, and then somebody said, wait, we can do the taxi thing without actually being a taxi company, and we can avoid all of this shit.
A lot of trouble with that, though.
They did. They did get into a lot of trouble.
In a lot of airports, it's not legal for an Uber or a ride-sharing
to pick you up. I know.
Drop you off. Because
well, no, they can drop you off, but they can't pick you up.
No, they can't have a customer in their car.
Seriously?
They have a taxi medallion. Yes.
In a lot of cities, that is the case, yeah.
Of airports. So you can't be on the premises with a customer without a taxi medallion. You got Uber on your car? No, you can't be in the airport at all.
It's just another example of technology evolving faster than these regulations can keep up with, I think, is a lot of this big issue here.
Well, it's regulation that wasn't technology. It was people. The thing is that in a lot of cases, what they were trying to defend against was predatory people getting others into their car unregulated and then charging them a bunch of money once they arrive, or they will turn them into the police. That's something that happens in third world countries still to this day. If you don't get into the official taxi cabs of that country, you will get scalped.
Yeah.
So our regulation was trying to protect people, but at the end of the day, it sometimes went too far and squelched our ability to improve our quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an example that's similar to this internet example. If you are too careful about trying to protect people before they get abused, especially in this case where, it was not a common occurrence for someone to pick a random person up at the airport and charge them a bunch of money because people knew what taxis were. Before the taxi medallion,
yeah.
No, I might be wrong. I don't know how long that legislation was. But anyway, the point is, there are a lot of things that won't suddenly start going wrong because people tend to be good.
Yeah. But again, that's kind of my point when it comes to regulation, though, is that I have trouble believing that it's better to regulate in advance of companies doing people wrong as opposed to allowing people to have redress of grievances. I would rather leave it in the hands of the consumer and say, hey, here is an easy and accessible way for you to nuke the company that fucks with you, as opposed to let's nuke all companies preemptively and just kind of hope that nobody either figures out a way around these regulations or that they're going to kill off the industry in the future.
Yeah.
Like, I would much rather leave it in the hand of the consumer that actually legitimately feels like they got screwed and say, hey, here is a easy way for you to bring your case that's not going to cost you money. It's not going to be in a huge waste of time. You can bring it and you can leave it. And then we can say, hey, we've got 9 cases lined up of Comcast screwing people.
Yeah.
We can turn this into a class action lawsuit and we can fuck with Comcast. And they have every right to do so.
But that just puts a price tag on failure and corruption. If they can afford the maximum penalty, then they can keep doing it.
No, they can't.
Yeah, they can't. No, that's what I mean. No, if they literally can't afford to keep making that mistake and paying out those lawsuits, and if they're able to make a return greater than the payout, that's a whole nother issue. I need another vodka before I get into that.
No, it's not really that difficult though. So if we look at it from, let's say we have, instead of over-regulating the market, we overprotect the consumer. Like, we allow the consumer to have all of these ways to redress grievances. So instead of having the market that we currently have, we'd have a market where people actually are allowed to compete and choose. So instead of sitting here with a 2-company limit in the city of Austin, instead of having that, what we'd have is 9 or 10 different companies. And if one company could, in your case, say afford making those mistakes, they actually couldn't. Because the cost of just the mistake of just the lawsuit is not just the dollar amount that's settled out. It would be the dollar amount that's settled out. Right. It's the dollar amount that's settled out plus the 20 to 30% of customers would be like, are you kidding me? Fuck that. I've got 5 other companies to choose from.
Yeah, and we don't currently live in that world.
We don't have that world right now because we have a different set of rules that are currently regulating the market as opposed to protecting the consumer.
I think we're all operating on a very idealized vision of the future that we don't currently live in, and the current situation that we live in sucks, and we just want it to be better.
Right, but the solutions we're all presenting are some I think are too apocalyptic, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the arguments I've heard in favor of keeping net neutrality at Title II are apocalyptic about, well, obviously the companies will be evil and obviously they're going to try and screw us. But I don't find that to be massively true in a lot of cases. Especially not if we were able to start giving people more choices.
I think it's all very short-sighted. Like, they will screw us for the next year or two. Because they've been screwing us for the last 7. No, it's like they're going to continue screwing us in the same way they've been screwing us. And
how so? In what way?
Forcing out competition, absolving all issues, and I need more vodka. I'll be back.
Okay. This man's going to get alcohol.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it myself. I got to be honest.
I mean, it's almost 3 o'clock. It's alcohol o'clock.
It's beer o'clock, man.
I know. And I've already had one. What now?
My freaking clock is busted.
Well,
it got the wrong time.
Okay. So it's not actually broken. Because you don't know how to reset a clock.
I just keep looking up at it, and it still has the wrong time since last time I looked at it, and it had the wrong time, but I didn't change it.
God damn it.
So now I'm changing it in the middle of a podcast. That's right there.
Oh.
Holy shit, it's Rob.
Oh my God, It's Rob.
So, hey, Rob, what's up?
You're not welcome.
Oh, okay.
Fucking Canadian.
Here. No,
you already have a Canadian here. Like, come on.
Yeah, but you're not a real Canadian.
Come back.
No, I thought Rob wasn't a real Canadian. He doesn't like poutine.
But he lives in Canada.
He also likes.
I've only lived here in the States for like
Detroit.
3 years.
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Almost 3 years actually. Next year, in June, it'll be 3 years.
Look at you, practically American now.
I was born in America, but raised in Canada,
Hey, look at you, Rob.
Hey, welcome back, Rob. Welcome back to the time.
Am I welcomed now?
No.
You're welcome. Or I just.
We're kidding, Rob. We love you.
Jeez Louise.
Jeez Louise, man.
Huh?
I have to take the long way to the kitchen.
Am I in the way?
No,
Jesus,
I'm not
Louise.
walk back there, remember?
I'm sure if you walk back here, there wouldn't be any skin showing. You'd be fine. Take the risk.
No, don't.
Wait a minute.
No,
Eric,
no
now go take the risk.
No risks. Nope. No.
All right.
I'm not a dick.
Eric said, no, Eric, she didn't say you are a dick. She said to eat a dick.
Oh.
Do you see Grayson in the background? Look at how precious he is.
No, I don't see Grayson. I do see Grayson now. Okay, hi.
Dick Grayson?
Yeah, actually. That's who he's named after, is the first Robin.
The best Robin.
Exactly. The best Robin. Who then became
mediocre
Nightwing.
Robin.
You want to know?
only Robin.
No, you want to know who the fucking mediocre Robin is? Damian Wayne.
I was about
Fucking
to say
pussy
Damien.
ass bitch.
Okay, children.
Wow,
you
you're
know,
the child.
I'm going to go ahead and grab a beer real quick. I'll be right back.
No, absolutely unacceptable.
Not allowed. Hey, babe, is that beer still in there?
Yeah, Eric shouldn't be drinking. It's bad for his health.
I think it's bad for everybody's health.
Yeah.
Oh, can you please
bad
hand it
for
to
my
me?
Anything that's good for my health.
Why?
It's the only thing that keeps me from killing
you wanna
myself as a
share?
lion man.
Well, goddamn.
You guys all had to get your own beer.
Yep.
I was lucky enough that I didn't have to move very much. Thank you, love.
You know, after that, I think this beer is mine.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's right. Mistake number 1 was trying to think that you were something special.
I am special.
Thank you.
Smack down.
Thank you.
Hey, Matt's back with an alcohol.
Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
Matt.
I recognize that beer.
It's my beer now. Yeah.
Spiritually, it's mine.
Abby says it's not good.
Oh.
Eric's making a sad face. Hey,
Really
Rob
harshing
doesn't
my
have
vibe.
designer bags this time.
What?
Said Rob doesn't have designer bags this time.
When did I ever have designer bags?
Under your eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
I always have bags under my eyes. They're there.
Just
lighting.
lighting's,
Lighting.
Yeah, I was gonna say the lighting's good enough that you don't actually see them. Hey, Rob. So could you introduce yourself to the podcast?
See, look, you don't see any bags now because the light. It's a good, positive light. It's a flattering light.
It's not that flattering.
It's not
like-
flattering.
It's a lot less flattering.
There you go. Now you can see them. You look
Now
hollow
now
and dead
you look-
inside.
I was gonna say.
Because I am hollow and dead inside.
Isn't
The
everyone?
darkness of your soul.
This thing's supposed to like say the what temperature it is,
Oh,
what
fucking
time
light.
it is,
Jesus Christ.
it is,
What?
but like it doesn't actually show anything because it's fucked up.
Oh. Hey, Rob.
Like,
You want to
do it.
introduce yourself like now?
To whom?
To
Matt,
the
what are you
podcast,
eating?
You fucking numpty.
Bulgogi.
Hi, my name is Rob, as Eric said multiple times.
Yeah.
I do nothing of value. I am no one of value, but I am here nonetheless.
Same. I've been
Hey.
silent for most of this.
I was gonna say you haven't said much, and it kind of worries me.
It's hard to shout over Matt and you.
Hey, what? We're not that loud.
So you want to hear something crazy?
No.
Technically, I'm a professional graphic designer now.
Really?
Wait, for
Yeah.
real?
Yeah.
What do you mean technically?
He
Technically,
designs graphics for money.
Yeah. I
Oh,
get
for fuck's sake.
money to design things. But not only do I design them, I then turn them into physical things. Like that Lions logo on the back of my phone.
Ah, classy.
Laser engraved. I made a Christmas present for my aunt, and like I made her like a laser engraved like trophy that looks like a legit award that like she can put on her desk, and people will be like, "Oh, you won a really cool award," and then they'll read it, and then it's like, "Ah, shit, from your nephew." Okay, never mind.
Nice. That's awesome.
But it's dope. I'll show it to you because I've been showing everybody because it's dope. 1 second.
Rob is proud.
So proud. He's so proud of himself.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at how happy he is going to his closet.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, walking is tough.
Oh, yeah, it's just super hard.
Yeah, I went to the
I didn't
gym.
know
with my-
Rob had his ears pierced. Did this happen in the past year?
This earring here is 17 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's a shiny, fancy. Damn it! Too much glare. Too much. Hey, look at
All
that.
you can see is Matt's face.
Too shiny. How do I make it like less shiny?
There you go. No.
There,
You're
you
good.
see my.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Like you engrave it on the back, so then it like shines through and it looks really cool. So it looks like a legit award. And like I used like our like family crest or coat of arms or whatever. I had to hunt it down and recreate it on the computer.
Look at you, Rob. What a professional.
Yeah, so technically I'm a professional audio or whatchamacallit.
Engineer. Yeah, those graphics talk a lot, don't they?
Somebody posted a review on our Facebook page the other day. Gave us 5 stars.
Woo! Rolling in the money, Mr. Hat.
Yeah,
Okay,
like when
well-
she came to pick up her plaque, she was like, "Oh my god, this is so incredible!" Another one that I made, and she's like, "Do you guys accept tips?" I'm like, "The only tip that we need is your continued business." And tell all your
Aw.
Facebook, and she's like, "Okay, I will."
That's awesome, dude. I bet you felt all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, my boss was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "You."
So, I'm glad you're joining us, Rob. This turned into an interesting conversation.
I need another vodka before I can get into shit.
Oh, come on.
Well, I also wanted to get some food so I can continue drinking.
There you go. Fair enough.
Yeah, I need to fucking start.
It's fine. I'll continue to be quiet. I should take the headphones out so that Abby can hear what's happening, so you can hear shouting from the other side of the room.
We're not shouting. We're not
No,
shouting.
man, like Matt and Abby aren't allowed to meet each other and talk politics. No,
Why not?
God.
I'll unplug and you can just hear Matt just go off. He's
It doesn't. No, this
I'm
is
overly
actually.
passionate about things I don't know enough about. That's the internet culture, right?
he's very
No, but-
passionate about things he doesn't know about. That's the internet culture, isn't it?
The thing is that Matt
He
is
says it
actually.
with such confidence that he sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
But the thing is that Matt actually. This is not even like the full Matt experience. Like this is. I'd say this is like 60%. This is not.
Probably, yeah.
This is not 100% Matt.
This is not a full-blown Matt.
No, this is not a full blown Matt.
I definitely want a full blown Matt.
There's only one Matt, like a chubby Matt.
I don't know. I've been losing too much weight, apparently.
Chubby Matt.
Yeah.
Been losing too much weight.
Actually, Matt has lost a lot of weight. 1 second.
He's got pretty skinny.
I can't tell because I haven't seen him in over like a year and a half.
I just looked at the
Oh,
scale and
come
I've
on,
dropped
Rob.
like, what is the math? Like 50 pounds in a year.
Cover. You're gonna make her nervous. You
So,
are
Rob, you're gonna come to RTX now?
Probably not. No.
So you're gonna walk her
Hey,
out.
Rob, what about BlizzCon? We could all go to BlizzCon.
Yeah, Rob, what about BlizzCon?
Yeah, Diablo.
At this point, I'd be more willing to go to BlizzCon than
Ouch.
Why don't you come to Japan?
too expensive.
Since you're not going to China.
Yeah,
We can all go to Thailand
too expensive.
Thailand's actually pretty cheap.
or Vietnam. Vietnam is pretty. I saw them
Vietnam.
on Top Gear.
Vietnam actually is.
11.
Vietnam is actually pretty cheap.
And then I'm off Monday.
There's so many people.
I have no idea. Actually, give me
Okay.
1 more second.
All right, can we real quick? I know Rob just got here, but can we kind of like we have been going for a little over an hour,
Jesus.
so let's kind of focus in with some final points, and then we'll
Final
Revive
point.
the discussion.
What is this, Eric? We don't even have Katie in here. This is fucked.
Yeah. Okay. But let's kind of focus in real quick and make some final points, and we'll see if we feel like how we feel like this went. Okay.
My final point is I feel like I need to do a lot of research into history and actually pay attention to my next history class should I ever take one.
Yeah.
Because today
Same.
really like what's going on right now feels very reminiscent of issues that we've talked about in a history class, and it's repeating itself, and that scares me because I didn't pay attention and
Yeah.
I should have paid attention.
Yeah. Same feeling here. It's like, wait a
You should have
minute.
paid attention in school. Who would have thought?
What's going on here? They told me that those who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it, but it's actually happening.
Yeah,
I thought I could
it's-
trust the people we elected to pay attention in history class, but apparently they didn't either.
Why would they?
Like fucking Roy Moore's, who was it? His advisor said that he swore on the Bible and you have to swear on the Bible. And he was absolutely dumbfounded when he found out you don't have to swear on the Bible. Like he went dead silent on screen for like 7 solid seconds where he was like, oh,
What?
fuck.
What?
I
You
mean,
don't have to swear in the Bible? What do you mean you don't have
Like,
to swear on the Bible?
his
What are we
argument-
swearing on?
Exactly. His argument was you can't elect a Muslim because you can't swear on the Quran. You have to swear on the Bible. It's like, that's just factually incorrect and inaccurate.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the reporter that he was talking to informed him of that fact and he shut down.
yeah, the thing,
Live.
What?
He just went dead silent and was like,
the thing is about that, the main important takeaway there is that Muslims get elected because people want their president to swear on the Bible, which is arguably more important than whether there's a legal requirement to do that. I don't think there's anything about the swearing ceremony that's actually a legal requirement. It's just a
It
ceremony.
is a ceremony. Yeah.
you have to swear on something. And someone swore on a Captain America shield. I saw a picture of
What
it.
did I
It's
miss?
pretty awesome.
But it's a ceremony. It holds no
Yeah.
actual value.
Yeah, exactly.
I swear to you.
I swear to you.
What did I miss?
I swear to you.
I thought of a random question earlier while I was getting alcohol. What was everyone's first experience with the internet?
Porn.
Oh, no. Come on. It wasn't actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it actually was. That was my first experience with internet. That or my stepdad playing like a really old school like 3D Spider-Man game on his computer.
That sounds
Oh.
fun. My first experience with the internet was Gaia Online.
Hell yeah, man. Good old days.
Like the first time you sat at a computer and was like, "What is this internet thing about?"
Right?
My first experience with the internet was Unreal Tournament.
Yeah.
I think first experience with the internet was Internet Explorer.
Shit, mine was like AOL. My dad got a free computer from work with like 1,200 hours of AOL on it.
Jesus Christ.
So I became a fucking AOL chat room troll and RPer, and it was beautiful.
Oh,
You didn't
RP.
You
The
know?
best thing in the world.
Like we had dial-up internet, and like I don't even remember what I used it for. Like I didn't know how to spell or read, so
I remember going to Pokemon.com, assuming that was a website, and it was, and I was mind blown. Like, just add a word that you know with .com after it, and sometimes it's a thing.
backdoorsluts9.com. Oh my god.
You could count to 9?
Okay, yeah. Pokemon.com just takes me to the official Pokemon site, but I feel like in like the early like 90s, it would have been even more mind blowing.
It was all blue. It was like an all blue background with a couple of
Come on,
pictures
hit
of
him,
Pokemon. And it was
Yeah.
just awesome that like I was like maybe 7 or 8, and I typed in Pokemon.com and it took me somewhere.
Yeah, that was probably, now that I think of it, that was probably a site that got poached during the .com explosion.
Yeah, might have.
Like Nintendo didn't own Pokemon.com; it was just some random fan, and they were like, "Oh, I bet I could sell this to Nintendo for $10,000."
Guys, I have a Tetra Bean. No,
Like
Bean,
pet
don't look.
dog.
Don't look. Look. Look
Hi,
at the people.
puppy.
She's like, Dad, don't do that. I want your beer.
Your doggy smells like my doggy.
What?
Where's my dog?
Doggy.
Daggy!
Who's a good bean? She's like, I'm a good bean.
Oh,
I don't
man.
know why I'm here, but I am
Here.
good. And here.
Mhm.
I was gonna say something, but you should pop off. Like,
Everyone's just trying to find a pet to show off on screen. I love it.
Come here. Wait, I don't have a pet.
Alright. Hey, what are you doing? Come here. DK, come here. DK.
Look at that face. Stare back.
Come here. Come
Lie
here.
down. Snuggle down.
DK, come here.
Oh, holy. What has this
No.
podcast become?
Stupid fucking
Okay,
retard.
guys.
Come. Where is he? No, where are you? Get
Oh,
over
he's
here.
so precious.
Gotta
Oh,
say
he looks
hello.
like Eddie. He's so cute.
Gotta-
Sorry. My dad had a really cute dog that looks exactly like your dog.
What are you doing, you psychopath?
Mountain Dew?
DK, come here. Come here.
What
Come
the
on.
fuck is happening in this podcast?
Nothing.
I'm trying to get
How
my
about-
dog to get up, but
No,
he's too old, so he
He's
can't.
not gonna. It's fine. It's fine, Rob. It's fine. The expectations have not been met. It's
As
fine.
per usual. DK, you let me down yet again. How come you didn't stop your fucking sister from pissing on the couch today, huh?
Out of context, that would be great.
Yeah, I was gonna say without the prior content. You know, I'm just gonna edit that out.
Just jump cut to
Well,
like
while we're
actual.
editing things out, I can add a few things we can edit out.
Oh God!
Go for it, Matt. Do it.
All right, gentlemen. So
Don't do it to me.
I think it's been a pleasure
What?
having y'all back.
This isn't like you, Eric.
I'm sorry. Are you finishing it early?
It's like I got still another hour and a half worth of ranting in me.
That's right. We're not gonna do. We will have. I feel like if we're gonna do a political ranting podcast, it should be its own separate entity.
Matt,
What?
if you want to keep ranting,
Sounds like
hop
Twitter.
on Path of Exile for my stream with Paul and I.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I
Become a
can
part
play
of Path of
that.
Exile rant about plenty of
Lordy.
things.
But I'm like level
Oh.
0. I'm gonna like sap all the experience or something.
No. We're literally starting from like ground one up.
Yeah.
All right.
We're starting off at level 1.
Okay. I'm up for that.
And you're going to be playing the Abyss League.
Whatever that means. I'm cool.
Oh, yeah,
That
I
sounds
don't
like a
know
fun
that.
word.
It
Very
is
weak.
Yes.
I'm okay with
quite
it.
fun. Anyway, Mentalgen, I appreciate having y'all back. It's been good. I don't know if this one's going to actually air. It may or may not.
Eric, air it.
Like, what do you have to lose? Just throw it up there and see if it sticks. That's the internet.
All right, fine.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
it's season 2, episode 1. Like, come on.
Episode 0.
Okay, sorry, season 2, episode 0.
Oh,
It's
yeah, we could do
basically-
like the whole Rooster Teeth model where we do like 4 or 5 episode zeros only available to paid sponsors of our Patreon page and then put up the rest later.
Yeah.
So Eric, you have your Patreon page set up already, right?
Yeah.
Mm,
Get one.
I think so.
Yeah,
Do we
pick
have
the
a
worst
FriBox
to make
Patreon page?
Patreon.
Because we should get on that.
Yeah.
I think I do
Patreon
have.
is going downhill.
Oh, God,
real
don't
quick
tell me
with
that's
policies.
No,
So.
don't actually
it's
have
not.
that, Eric.
No, Rob. It's actually not. They rolled it out and then they rolled it right back.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. They're not doing it. They're not doing the fee structure.
That's real smart. Real smart on your Patreon.
Yeah, they immediately rolled it back because they saw how many people were posting screenshots of all of their $1 Patreons dropping like fucking flies.
Yep. I just read an announcement from one of the YouTubers I watched today. He was like, hey, they fixed it. Hey.
Yeah.
Come back, pay me.
Yeah.
All right, Mentalgen.
I need money.
2 weeks ago was probably the worst day for the internet.
But
Like,
what?
Dr. Disrespect cheated on his fucking wife.
Oh, yeah.
Boogie got divorced. Like,
Yep.
Wait, what
What the-
happened?
Boogie got divorced.
Disrespect.
Dr. Disrespect cheated on
I
his
could,
wife.
I could give 2 shits that Boogie got divorced, but Dr. Disrespect, that was some sad times.
Yeah, that kind of. I think that kind of rocked the Twitch world for a moment.
What happened with Dr. Disrespect? I'm sorry. Rob
Cheated
kept
on his
fucking...
wife.
His wife.
Oh, what?
He
Yeah.
fucked other women instead of his wife.
But people, like, that's a normal thing that humans do in everyday life. Like, 1 in 10 people or whatever random statistics I want to pull out of my ass cheat on their wife. It's just like, it happens in everyday life. What's to expect this one random pillar in the community that you've raised up onto a pedestal isn't human?
Right. Now that is a valid point. I don't think the statistic.
Don't
The statistics on my ass.
Yeah, I don't think the statistic is
Yeah,
grounded
what is it,
in
like
reality.
something like 87% of statistics are made up on the spot? I
Yeah,
forget the exact number.
Something like that.
exactly.
Matt says things with such confidence. You just got to believe it's true.
No.
The rest of these people
No.
mostly learned. You're still learning.
No. You
Yeah,
don't
we learned to
believe-
filter out all of his bullshit.
Sarcasm.
Yeah. No, because it's not even sarcasm. It's anyway. Look, the Dr. Disrespect thing. Like, I don't understand why people keep elevating and saying like, Dr. Disrespect is my idol. I'm like, that man should not be your idol.
Don't idolize internet celebrities.
You
Don't
shouldn't
idolize anyone.
Celebrities,
You shouldn't
period.
idolize celebrities at all. It doesn't matter where they are. You shouldn't idolize Conor McGregor. You should idolize fucking basketball stars. You shouldn't
You
idolize.
shouldn't idolize Frida Kahlo. You shouldn't idolize Rosa Parks, those goddamn celebrities.
Yeah, fucking celebrities.
Fucking celebrities, man.
No. Anyway,
Come on, Stafford. What kind of fucking throws that, bud?
okay. Anyway, before Rob
Shouldn't
devolves
idolize
into
sports stars either,
bitching
Rob.
about sports.
Sports?
Anyway, thank you all for coming. We'll probably see this go live in about an hour or so when it actually finishes processing. But what does that look for, Rob?
You said coming and finishing in the
Yeah,
same-
yeah. I was going on the same mind track there.
3 out of every 5 men think of sex jokes when it comes to coming in faster.
Or
I'm
harder?
pretty sure that's one of 87% of statistics.
100% of the time, I think. I don't know.
60% of the time, it works all the time.
Exactly.
I'm not
There
very
you go.
statistics unlike Matt, so I don't really know what.
Oh, okay, sure. All right, so everybody, I wish you all a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this interesting podcast. Hopefully, I almost said informative, then realized.
Yeah,
it was
I
probably
heard
a
that.
complete
I was
lie.
like, good thing he caught himself because
Yeah.
Came in, none of the pertinent parts.
clearly not what
Hey.
happened there.
Anyway, yeah. Until next time. So I'm thinking probably next week. That's probably when we'll try and do one of these again.
Same time.
Are we
Maybe
gonna
not
change the
actually-
name to the Sat Box?
No, and actually not next week because I will be in California, so I won't be back until the week after.
Oh,
So probably 2 weeks.
Oh, that's right. Christmas is happening.
Yeah.
Christmas is like 2 weeks from now.
It's like 16 days away or some shit.
10.
It's
It's
a week.
It's 10 days away.
10. Wait, what?
Wait,
It's
9.
9
It's
days.
9
Oh, no,
Nine
it's
days.
December 16th today. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry.
All right,
I saw
Matt.
a meme.
All right, Matt. Quit alcoholing, and then just get ahead of it for the night.
so keep alcoholing and play Path of Exile with us.
Exactly. Also, speaking of that, it's going to take me a hot minute to get that set up.
Why not a cold minute?
Okay.
Because it's better to be
I'm
hot
ending
than
the
cold.
broadcast now. Everybody
All right,
say
bye.
goodbye, please.
See you, Eric.
All right.
Goodbye, please.
Bye.
I mean,
Bye.
goodbye, viewers.